might be able to find my file copy of it, that was just for that particular calendar year, where at the time that the budget was approved, there was, or at some point there was an agreement that said the county agrees to pay so much money and New Directions agrees to provide such and such services. Not speaking on behalf of the agency, because I'm not on their board, I was a few years ago, but I'm not anymore, but just looking at it, generally speaking, if you approved $15,000 in your budget last July for this agency to start, or whatever the dollar amount was, it raises a question in my mind.
I can see where you're going, and I wouldn't disagree with that necessarily.
Okay.
If that's the way we should go, I wouldn't disagree.
But when the budget was approved, whatever the dollar amount was, there wasn't anything formal in there. So maybe we should, for sake of the State Board of Accounts, if we're going to pay out X number of dollars to a not-for-profit, we should have a contract in place.
My concern is, I guess, no one has reported to the county some of the circumstances that have occurred recently. Apparently they lost, without a director and maybe without an assistant.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I heard one of their ads on the radio this morning, so I don't know what.
But I do know that a couple of they are funded by at least two other entities that are reconsidering whether they will fund at all, or at what level.
Did they
so
turn it into,
is it good for us to send that money to?
Did they turn it into claims for the whole annual amount? Okay. Well, yeah. So I agree that it would be inappropriate to pay a 12-month claim in January, and I can try to find my copy of the old grant agreement that we had, and it would be appropriate to ask somebody from, I don't even know who's the chair of their board now. I mean, that's not their fault, that's my fault, but I don't know who their chair is. To contact them and say, well, we need a budget and we need to know what your plan for the year is, yeah.
For the future, I think it'd be, we develop some type of form for every entity that comes in that requests funding, that there are certain things that they've got to supply on a certain date in which they apply by, so that we can get a better handle on what we're expected and what's expected of us.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm okay with, I think what you guys are saying, that we might send or pay out the whatever we would until we get more information.
Right. Does that need to be a motion, Bridget?
If you tell me what you want to do, typically in the minutes we have it listed as claims and claims and payroll claims approved. We can put something in there that states that claims were approved with the exception of New Directions until further information is received. You can put it. Typically, we don't do it as a motion. I always list it on there for reimbursement purposes.
Will they need to submit another claim for 1/4 of that $15,000 if that's the way?
That'll be up to you if that's how you want them. I'm sure it's not. You won't be the first group that's asked them for a budget and/or.
Can they approve 1/4 of the amount? Have you cut a check for 1/4 of the amount today?
Even though the plan was for 15.
Yeah, you can approve the amended amount.
Okay.
I know that we approved the amended amount to be able to for the year.
I'll second that.
I'll concur.
How are you going to get somebody from there in here? Or
Do you have?
I'll be at a meeting today later on. I can find out who the new chair is, and I can just call them.
what did they want you to do with the check?
We have their mailing address.
Okay. Because we could send them a letter that says, if you want the rest of your money, please contact
That'd be great if you want to draft all those stuff.
Yeah. Is that all right? What do you want us to invite them to do?
Well, one of the other funding agencies is requesting certain information, and I would be comfortable with having that same information rather than having New Directions, work up several different documents.
Who, United Fund? Okay. So we can put a letter in with their check that asking that they send a representative to the next commissioners meeting so that we can have information about their plans for the future, similar to the information that they're giving the United Fund?
You are on United Fund's board at this point.
Well, I will be this afternoon.
Will there be sessions that people wanting contributions will come in and present?
Oh, that's not till March.
My experience with that a year ago, when I was on that committee to look at all of the applications, is that they've got a 3 or 4 page document that will list the name of the organization, all the pertinent information about it, their expenses to date, their yearly budget, what they do with the funds, how much goes to salaries, how much goes for programs, all manner of things. I think it's a pretty good piece that you can look at and kind of see
Past results.
Yeah, past results and maybe future goals, that kind of thing. So something like that, or something similar to what the city has in their request for funding. I saw a copy of it yesterday.
If that's due in March, you said?
The United Fund has those meetings in late
It's
March.
it's in the early spring.
Yeah.
So our quarterly payment would get us to that point, probably.
But do you still want somebody from their board to come to a future commissioners meeting? Give us a report on their activities in 2010 and their budget for 2011?
Let's kind of think about that for a little bit and just kind of let it stew for a while to make sure that we're not, running people in and out of the door when they don't need to be, that kind of thing. But I don't think it hurts a thing if you're asking for $15,000 or $20,000 that once a year you come in and plead your case for that. But
do you want me to hold off on inviting them to come to the meeting?
I would say hold off on that right now.
Okay.
Go ahead and send the quarterly, but we'll get back together with some ideas on what.
I'm okay with paying quarterly, but I want to make sure that they are still in business before we continue the payments, I guess.
And maybe if there is a letter that you could draft, just stating the reason that we're looking at why we're only paying for the quarter, which is are working on. I'll type something, fire up to you, and you can critique that.
Okay.
Go from there.
Okay. If you have anything else, Bridget?
I need you to sign the certifications for board appointments for Dr. Lunday, Nick Peters, and Al Harbeck for the Health Department. You will sign where it says signature of appointing authority for county executive. It's on the bottom of each one. I can date them if you'll sign each one of those.
Keep that.